Hey, Brad.
Matthew, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I've kind of moved up the headphones. I don't know if they look too ugly for a video or not, but I could switch just to the overhead mic. I don't know if you get a more echo on that way or not, but
It's all good. Ugliness is subjective. I'm used to the ball cap. Every time you don't wear the ball cap, it throws me off.
I have it here. I'll put it on, but it's hard to wear with these headphones are throwing me off. So you can't hardly wear both. I can, but I got to put. So
How's
anyway,
the weather down there?
good. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, it's like in the 50s. So
We've never really talked about anything personally before, have we?
not really. No.
Are you a football guy?
Well, yeah, I'm in between teams. I've just left the Cowboys. They have disappointed me for the last time after 30, 40, 50 years of following them. So now I think I'm going to head to the Packers and be a Green Bay fan because the Packers have more playoff wins in the Dallas's stadium than Dallas got. So, are you? Are you a football guy?
I used to be like big sports guy growing up. I used to think when I was a kid that boys were either into sports or trucks. I've now learned it's not that case. But I was always sports guy. My dad just watched sports all the time. I've watched like everything. A lot of hockey,
Yeah.
basketball, baseball, football. And then this is going to sound like I'm complaining or like stereotypical man thing to complain about. But when I started dating my now wife, the sports watching went down. And well, frankly, there's other more important things happening. So, like football was one of the first ones to go though, because like we'd be hanging out with our family or someone's family on Sunday, and they weren't big football or sports people, so it was never on. So I just watched it less and less. Hockey was the last one that I hung on to, and now I find I put sports on and I just don't care anymore. I have a hard time getting engaged with it. Football especially. I don't think I watched the Super Bowl last year. I did 2 years ago. But it was like New Year's, where I stopped staying up for New Year's like 5 years ago, and then the world just continued on. I was like, oh, this is fine. And a couple years ago, I didn't watch the Super Bowl for the first time. The world continued. How did you become a.
Did you play sports growing up?
Yeah, I was always your most average sports player. I was never the best, far from it, but I was never the worst on any team.
That
I
was
just.
me too. That was me. Just I would be the first of the when the game was already decided, I'd be the first sub to go in. So I was better than the rest of the subs, but it made no difference in the game. So that was me. So I was the best of the worst. So
Yeah, you're like the six man award, right? In
yeah, 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 yeah. So
I got most improved a couple years playing sports.
so yeah, I went to a private high school. We had soccer and basketball. And so that's what I played, soccer and basketball. So
Is soccer getting more popular there?
yeah, I don't know. I never really loved soccer. I love basketball. I'd like to, I would still, I'm 56, 57. I would still like to lose like 30 pounds and get back into a men's game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I still have another 10 years of good playing in me. So, yeah, overall, other than being like 30, 40 pounds over, I'm pretty good shape. And so, I could just get I'd have to get my glasses traded in for some contacts. I can't play in eyeglasses. So, get some contacts. I'd get back out there. Yeah, I'm kind of looking to do that.
Oh, yeah. What's your like NBA team then?
I don't have one. I don't have one. So, I don't really have an NBA team at all. So,
Is it all college?
what's that?
Is it all college then?
Yeah, yep, the Iowa Hawkeyes. I grew up in Iowa and the Virginia Cavaliers now that I live in Charlottesville. So that's kind of my two college teams. So,
It's interesting. I talked to Southern Sarah, who's in. Why am I forgetting now? Carolina?
yep. Yeah.
No, Georgia. Sorry, she's in Georgia.
She's in Georgia. I thought she was in North Carolina. Okay.
Yeah, so she's in Georgia, and I used to ask her about football, and she loved football, but she doesn't watch NFL almost ever. She just watches college football, and it's funny because it's a completely different culture in Canada. Like it's not the same. The viewership's not the same. The interest is not the same. So,
Yeah. Well, I say I'm really losing interest in college sports because they have this new thing called NIL. Have you heard of that?
yes,
They're paying the students, right or wrong. It could be right. I don't know. I don't care. It's that the students now are getting paid. And so they're like professional development leagues now. I mean, I don't even know if they're college. So who cares about that stuff? So I don't know. It's taken the whole thing to a different level. So, so now I don't know what I'll do. So
it's interesting because like that was one of the things that people loved about college sports, right? Or we'll watch a good amount of Ontario Hockey League up here in Canada. So like the league below the NHL when they're younger. And the idea was it's more fun watching those guys because they've not made it yet and they're trying to make money. Those games are awesome to go to live. You go to an actual Leafs game, like Leaf games suck. They're boring. They're not fun live. You go to an OHL game, a Generals game, Pete's game, something local. They're awesome. But
yeah. So anyway, you got any kids?
yeah, we've never talked about this for real.
No, I don't think really. No, I hardly know you.
Yeah, I got two kids. I'm forgetting my kids now. I got a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. Two boys. My oldest is named Beckett, 8 years old. My youngest is Foster. He's going to be 7 in a couple weeks, February 28th. 18 months apart. First couple years were chaos. Two kids so close together. The last couple years are cool. And there's like glimmers of hope. Like even this morning, I was watching them at the table and they're like playing so well together and they're messing around and busting each other's chops. And you can tell like at their core, they love each other and they're best friends. And it's so cool to see that.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, we got two. We got Carter, he's 15, and Cooper is 13. And so you'll probably, as we do more together, Cooper will probably get more involved with the business. He's a bit too young right now. But yeah, they're best friends, right? We homeschool, so I mean they're best friends. So
I gotta be nice to Cooper and Carter for in 10 years I'm gonna be working for them.
Cooper and Carter. Yep.
Cool. You want to talk about business stuff?
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm gonna ask you some questions that I know already and we've asked before, but just for the purpose of this recording, tell me a bit about America's CPA.
Oh, so you want like a short, succinct answer, or
no? Go wild. I asked somebody this yesterday, and Dale spoke for 40 minutes.
So what? I thought this was a video testimony to. I guess this. I thought this is something you're doing for your firm.
Oh yeah, I am. My hope is that I'm trying to get you comfortable, casual, chatty, ask you about your business. I can use some of this stuff. We can use this whole recording, and then I'm going to chop it down into smaller stuff for me, specific for certain things.
Okay. All right. So America's CPA is a CPA firm in Charlottesville, Virginia. We've been, I started this back in practically in 2018. Just to help everyday Americans. And the reason is because we have a lot of hardworking everyday Americans that have nowhere to go with their tax returns. They either have to go to the retail shops and get really poor service and really bad returns, or they have to try to find a CPA office, and good luck with that because nobody's accepting new clients right now. And then if they do go there, their prices are extraordinarily high. So we're trying to fit that happy middle where we're giving world-class service with very, very accurate returns for a reasonable price, a competitive price. And so every return, we will prepare it once, we'll review it, and then we'll do a second review. And the third and final review is actually with the client. And so the work comes out, it's quite accurate. There's very little mistakes in our returns. And so, because we've had so many different eyes on it. And so America CPA has a huge vision. I mean, we want to do 1 million returns. And so we're doing like, I think in 2023, we did around 600. We plan to do over 1,000 in 2024. And we plan to just to keep escalating that number until we hit 1 million. And so we want to be the guy next door doing your tax returns. And we want to, really take the place of H&R Block and Jackson Blewett. And then we will just hopefully we can encroach in on some of TurboTax and all the do-it-yourselfers could know that we add tremendous value to the process. Not just we're more than just doing their tax return. We also have a nice uninterrupted conversation about their finances and how to minimize their taxes over their lifetime and just not next year. Because anybody can minimize taxes in 1 year. To do it over a lifetime, that takes a little planning, and we help with that. So anyway, so right now I'm the CPA. We've hired a second CPA. She's part-time. I'm hoping to get her full-time here in the next month. We have a few other employees doing some bookkeeping and other things. We have just recently launched Gift Reporter. This is our nonprofit solution. And so we have nonprofit financial solutions where we do the complete finances for a nonprofit. We'll do their payroll, we'll do their bookkeeping, we'll do their gift reporting, we'll do their monthly reporting, their annual reporting, we'll do their 990 tax reporting. Did I mention payroll? We'll do their payroll. And then policy and procedures, we'll write those as well. So anything that really our idea there is to take all the management off of a pastor of a small church or an executive director of a small nonprofit. And we're going to assume all those responsibilities to allow more time for management and more time for ministry and less time where they have to oversee the manage more time for mission, not management, more time for mission, more time for ministry and less time of management, because we're going to do that. And we're going to be there year in and year out, because there's a problem with nonprofits, and that's with the bookkeeping. They have volunteers doing it. They have underpaid, underqualified bookkeepers doing it. It's always a mess, and their giving statements look awful. And we solve all those problems. We've created a proprietary world-class gift reporting system. We have the best giving statements in the business. It looks awesome. And when we developed that software, everything came around that giving statement. And so most softwares in this donor management market, the giving statement is an afterthought. It's like, oh, by the way, we should put out a giving statement. We designed Gift Reporter with that giving statement as our end product. And so it's a fundamentally different way of programming it. And so we successfully did that. And so we have world-class giving statements. And so that's our that's our financial solutions for nonprofits. That's our other piece. So we do tax returns for individuals, and then we do that whole financial solutions for nonprofits. So that's kind of America CPA in a nutshell.
That was fantastic. That was, to steal some of your words, a world-class explanation as to what you do. I've done, I think, 7 of these in the last 2 days. That was the best one by far. And that whole time I was like, oh, cool, this is a question that I can ask to get him to talk more. You just kept answering my questions.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of story brand, right? Brian is a story brand. And a lot of that is like, what's the problem? Poor bookkeeping. What's the problem? You can't get a tax return. And so I've kind of learned how to talk like that, how to present. We solved that problem. We solved this problem. And a lot of that's due to, Donald Miller and Brian Rump and all that story brand getting pounded into my head. So
that's awesome, because I could hear it as you were talking. You'd like say something, and then you'd bring up the problem is, and then you'd like how you could fix it. I was like, this is fantastic.
It works. It really, really works,
I think once you open your mind to story brand and really understand it, you start to see how poor all other marketing is, especially.
You really do. It's obvious. Mm. You go to websites that are not, you could just start pointing. And I'm not even a marketing guy, right? I mean, it's not that difficult.
Yeah. I find radio is the worst. So someone will introduce, this is our business. This is what we do. We're really awesome at it. We also do these 10 other things. oh, by the way, we can do this too if those other things aren't interesting to you. It's just fascinating to me. Like they're just trying to squeeze so much into 15 or 30 seconds that they've completely lost their message.
That is right. Radio ads are awful. They talk about their grandfather started the business. Nobody cares. It just really, it's really, really bad. And they don't talk about what they're solving. They talk about themselves. So I haven't done any radio. I don't know what it costs. I don't know if I should, but I haven't done any.
There's value in everything, but it's always a resource thing, right? Like, do we have budget? Do we have the manpower? All that stuff.
Yeah.
So when did you start doing marketing for America's CPA?
I'm on my fifth or sixth website. So we really started back in 2013 when I started America CPA is actually named, the original name is Argus Tax and Financial Services. And it was a name that my uncle gave that name to me. Argus was a Greek god. And his body, I don't know if you know much about Greek mythology, but Argus's body was full of eyeballs. And so Argus was slain in battle, and then his eyes survived and got thrown into the tail of a peacock. And so I had this green logo. I probably have it here somewhere, but with the eyes of Argus if you ever see a peacock's tail, they have the eyes of Argus. And so that goes back to Greek mythology and everything. And so I thought, I have all knowing everything. And so I created this little logo, and we had one website there. And I think it was like or something did me a little website back in 2013, and I had like 25 clients, and it really did nothing. And then I kept that for 3 or 4 years or not. And then I created my second website it was a disaster. So I stayed with those guys, and I don't even know. They did some SEO stuff, but I'm not even sure what they did. So basically I paid that firm to do a bunch of SEO. And did I get any calls? I have no idea. So I stayed with them. I could never even talk to the main guy, right? Never even talk to the main guy. It was always, and I would try to get through to him. Never called me back, nothing. And so I left those guys after about a year or so. And then I went to, and I got a third that was my third website was out there. So we redid it again. And this is all under Argus. So this was another Argus website, redid it, moved all my client information to their CRM or whatever. And they were pretty good, actually. I think they did a decent job overall. And they did a lot, and they still might be doing some of this for me. I'm not sure, but they posted on my Facebook, and they would do regular posts, and they did certain stuff. And I thought they did a pretty good job. But then I got a marketing coach, and his wife created, and they said that they talked all of their coaching clients into becoming DreamLeads.app clients and moved their website and all their stuff there, because this one app for $125 a week would do all these things, everything I needed to do. Well, the problem with not this guy, but he was giving me really bad information over the years, and just bad advice. He treated me like a recipe, like you do this, and this will happen. And hang on just a second here. And it would just be like he was giving me the same advice he gave everybody else. Like I'm just one of 1,000 CPA tax bookkeeping practices, right? And so I kind of reject that, because I'm my own guy, really. I have different ideas. I look at things completely different than a lot of people, right or wrong, blessing or curse. I just look at things from a different way. And so after paying him way too much money and stuff, it's like I got to separate from, because he was adding no value. all my calls were still coming from client referrals and SEO. Nothing he was doing was giving me any return. And so by now, but I had my website there on. And so then I left him as a coach, and I kept my stuff on for a while. I forget, a year or so. And then I think by then it's America CPA. So he created, I think, my first America CPA website, I believe. And so then I met Brian. I did this exercise with a 2-day seminar with StoryBrand, this virtual seminar in 2000. About a year later, I followed up with that coach, the Will Turner or whatever, and he introduced me to Brian Rump. And then Brian's been my marketing coach ever since. And then he introduced me to your team. And then so you've actually, I think, now got my 5th website, and it's by far just unbelievable. And so it's StoryBrand, it's clean, it's crisp. It's just really, really super. And so it's better than any of those other 4 for that we've been using a long time. And so this is my 5th time. And so now now that we really got a website that we like, it's hooked up to HubSpot, a CRM, we got emails going. Now we're doing actually some paid advertising, I think, for the first time. That's not quite true. I've tried bits and pieces of what Brian calls shotgun marketing. They never work, right? So I just reject all that right now. And so any marketing efforts I do, I run by you and Brian. I don't do anything. I don't go off the reservation, I don't think, at all anymore. And so all that's a big waste of time. So that's kind of my history of marketing. It's really been a learning experience. I've made a ton of mistakes, I can tell you that. But that's what marketing is. I guess that's in general what business is learning from your mistakes and how to do it better. And so I mean, if I knew what knew 6 years ago, I'd probably have saved a lot of money, but shoot, probably everybody says that. So, but anyway, that was my evolution of marketing. I learned a lot, doing a lot better now, I think, over the years. And so now we're doing paid marketing. I think we're doing paid Google ads. We're still doing the SEO work. And what else are we doing for marketing? I guess I should know, but just SEO referrals. I'm asking. I'm in the habit of, and that's part of marketing, right? Every time I see a client now, I say, hey, we got excess capacity. We're looking for clients. A lot of that stuff is natural. Every time I see a tax client now, I say, who's your favorite nonprofit? Because we're trying to cross sell and trying to get information on nonprofits. And so that's some of the training that Brian's been telling us. So.
What problems were you trying to solve when you started working with me for the SEO and new website?
Well, first of all, it was a matter of trust, because I didn't think I was getting any I wasn't getting any really feedback on anything else we were doing with, or I had no idea if it was working or not. I had absolutely no idea. I would never see the results of anything. And so now at least we're seeing that, right? And we can experience that, and we know that. So that was one thing. I have to trust that the dollars going out that we're spending on this stuff is actually effective and making, getting us where we want to go.
How do you feel now that you've got that effective website up and a plan marketing wise?
I actually think I have never been more positive about America's CPA's future than I am right now. And that's a true story, because I know our marketing is, we got our arms around it for the first time in 11 years since 2013. I understand kind of why we're doing what we're doing. And I understand that this thing is about to explode, because I mean, our marketing is, what we put into marketing, and we're going to just continue with it. And good, consistent marketing month over month will pay off. And so I am incredibly optimistic that we're going to double. This is amazing what I'm going to say, but we plan to double our sales every single year for the next 10 years. I mean, that's how we're going to get to 1 million returns. Now, if we're going to do that or not, I think we will. And I think the marketing will do that for us because there's a huge void of what we do of qualified tax preparers, just a huge void on that. And then so we're just going to get the word out, and then we plan to market like crazy and double our business. I think there's a huge market for it. I'm totally optimistic about the future. And the big reason is we got our marketing finally under control. So,
Have you ever felt optimistic like this before?
well, generally I'm an optimist, right? But there's always that yeah, I'm a generally optimistic person. I've always thought the future is bright, you know. Um, but now actually this time I have a plan to go with it. Before I'm just thinking like it's all going to just happen without really a plan. And we grow, I mean, American CPA, we're growing at the speed of cash, right? So we're not borrowing money. We don't borrow money. And so we're scratching out a living. For the last 6 years, I had a really nice day job, right? Back in when I worked for the CFA Institute. And I was making a nice living and everything. And then now for the last 6 years, we're trying to scratch it out. And every small business probably has that story too, right? You're just trying to scratch it out and hoping for that next customer and everything. And so, and when you don't borrow to fund your operations, it makes it tougher those first few years. But it makes you focus on not wasting money and so forth. And and so we have these big dreams. I have these I tell Mrs. Jacobs, my wife, I said, yeah, we're going to do 1 million returns. And she says, we're barely paying our bills, Brad. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, you need to go back to work. You need to hang. And this is like, I'm thinking like, we're almost, and every year I said, we're almost there. We're almost there. And so finally now I think it's everything is starting this year is starting to click. A lot of that, all that networking we've been doing, all the stuff we've got going is starting to click. And so we've never been more optimistic than right now, although I'm generally an optimist. So
Nice. What's it like working with me?
oh, I've enjoyed it. I really, really have. And so you're responsive. You got a good team with Sarah. She's awesome. She's very responsive. I've enjoyed it. I think you give a really good value. It's what you provide is a really good value. And so a lot of that, I can tell you, I'm not sure what you do behind the scenes, but it seems to work. So, and that's one of the frustrations I've had is connecting all the tools. And technology, I like it, but it kind of frustrates me because I don't have time to really get into it and learn the tools. And I know a lot of times you buy tools and you just use like 1% of them. And so, it's comforting to know that you guys are behind us learning that stuff. So, or helping, not learning it, but connecting it and configuring it, I guess is the right word. And so that's awesome. So,
Can you describe what it's been like working with me compared to the other marketers that you've worked with, those 4 other times at least?
well, yeah, I mean, would I even get a monthly call? They would. I never did talk to the main guy there, right? And the guy I did talk to, he would send me a Loom video with my monthly stat. That's what it was. He would send me a pre-recorded Loom video with my monthly stats and say, Brad, this is how we're doing. You're ranking on this, and this. It's like, really? Then we moved to, and I'm not sure what kind of feedback they ever gave me. I think it was more of an automated service. Now, it wasn't much. I mean, we only paid him like $400 or $500 a month. So it wasn't that, it was what it was, but I didn't have a main guy there meeting with me. And then we moved to, and he was like super, super expensive. And he was like one size fits all. And just kept saying, you got to do these 6 things. And the stuff he would tell me to do, I'm thinking like this can't possibly work. He says it definitely will work. And of course I did it, and then they don't work, and they just made me look like an idiot. And then, I mean, I spent way too much money with that guy. And then we move over to Brian Rump and you. And then I think working with Brian has been awesome. And then he introduced me to you. And you're like it's kind of like a night and day difference, really, because you can tell that you really want me to succeed. I mean, it's like you're in the boat rowing with me. That's never been, those other guys do what they do, I guess, but you can tell that they're always worried about the next sale. They don't really care if their current client succeeds or not. And so it's really a black and white difference working with you.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. That's everything. I don't know if you're stressed or nervous, but we're all good.
So is that what you wanted? Is that good?
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Yeah. I'll be able to do lots of stuff with this.
Yeah. I hope it helps. I met every word. I really enjoy you. I mean, I really enjoy. I think you're doing a great job for me, man.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Brad. I love working with you. You've been fun to work with. I think we're just getting started. I'm excited to do more. I know that we can hit those goals that you want to hit, just one step at a time.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I met with a guy this morning, this team, and we're going to. I think they're supposed to give me a contract here any minute, or a proposal, but they're going to outsource. This means the clients aren't mine, but I'm going to work on their clients, and and they're going to pay us a really nice fee, and it'll be enough to get Katie on full time. And so we should hit third gear scratch on that. So we'll have Katie come in, work on those returns, work on my new returns that I've got. And then after tax season, then Katie can help focus on gift reporter and financial solutions.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So we got that going on. And then we're Charlie, I don't know if you heard this, but Charlie is looking, he's the guy that wrote my gift reporter software. He is going to meet with the Center for Nonprofit Excellence, which is downtown Charlottesville, and get me an introduction to those guys. And I may get just bucket loads of nonprofits from that. So that's and then finally, the third thing is, and we may bring you and Brian in more on this, but I might be able to get a $50,000 grant from Startup Virginia, an incubator fund for small businesses like mine. And so that would be enough to hire a salesman and really kick off Gift Reporter. So there's like 3 good things that are happening right now. So this week. And so very exciting.
That's amazing. That's a great week. That's a good win.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks, Matt. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for everything, Brad. I appreciate it. Thank you for doing this.
All right. You're welcome. All right.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye.